Hello and welcome to the week ahead. We had a little hiatus after a couple of weeks. We're back. Legislature is really running full tilt. They were supposed to have all bills out this past Friday. That didn't happen. Rumor has it that there are over 600 bills still in play between the committees. They're working feverishly to try and get through them. In my areas, the Labor and Housing Committee is doing work sessions on all the workers' comp bills. We had our last group of public hearings last Monday. Now the bills are all in the hand of the committee. They're sorting through them, having discussions about bills they may want to move forward with, bills they don't want to move forward with. That's happening today. They're supposed to park that issue for a week and come back next Monday for additional discussions. There's also a stakeholders group that's been formed to talk about where the bills go and what a package, if there is one, might look like. I think it's safe to say there will be a bill or bills coming out of the committee. They have made it clear they're not going to carry these bills over. So that's the priority issue right now. And in the Insurance and Financial Services Committee last week, they held a long public hearing on the creation of a public option. In other words, universal health care, single payer, whatever it is you want to call it. Took a lot of testimony. Not sure where those bills are going to go. There's some discussion that they may get, there's 4 or 5 of them. They may just whittle them down to one and carry one over, but that remains to be seen. So stay tuned.
This week in the IDEA and the Education Committee, they're dealing with a lot of bills that we testified in support of last week, so they'll hold work sessions on bills that deal with the Maine state grants, student debt, apprenticeships, computer science, as well as an early childhood workforce program. And then this week is, for public hearing, is the LD 647, the immigration bill, which establishes a welcome center in Portland, as well as various programs, education and training for Maine's immigrant workforce population. The IDEA and Education Committee are still meeting 4 days a week and are still fairly busy, so hopefully those will slow down.
In tax, tomorrow there's going to be a work session on LD 1647. We testified in opposition to this bill. It's Seth Berry's bill, which would impose a tax equalization assessment, which would be basically an increase in income tax in the state on those making over $250,000 a year. That's tomorrow, and on Wednesday we're testifying in support of an educational opportunity tax credit bill. That's Matt Pouliot's bill, and that's Wednesday.
All right, environment and energy, very busy. A lot of bills going on this week. I want to highlight one, LD 1646. There's a public hearing tomorrow morning on Tuesday at 1 p.m. In front of the Energy and Utilities Committee. This is a bill that would take our current investor-owned T&D utilities and turn them into consumer-owned or ratepayer-owned utilities. We have a lot of concerns with this piece of legislation, specifically with the timeline. We urge the legislature to move forward with caution. When we deregulated our energy sector 20 years ago, the conversation started in 1995. The legislation was actually enacted back and started happening in 2000. So it's a conversation the legislature is going to have. We're at the end of the session. This is a big change for the energy sector here in the state of Maine. So with this public hearing, we're going to urge the legislature to move forward with caution on topics such as consumer-owned utilities. So that's a big deal, big hearing tomorrow in the Energy and Utilities Committee.
That's it for this week. Join us next week. We'll try and be more timely as we go forward. The legislature often controls our scheduling. We don't. So, at any rate, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Stay classy, Maine.